Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody out in social media, TV land. Welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat here in sunny Port Richey, Florida with Clucky the Chicken, who's so glad it's Turkey Day tomorrow and not Chicken Day. And of course, my co-host, Mr. Steve Reed, somewhere out in Texas, Longhorn State. And we also are bringing in our producer, Debbie, so everyone gets to meet her on this Thanksgiving Day. Producer Debbie.
Oh, Ray, you're pitiful.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you guys are gearing up for an eventful day with family, friends. No arguing of any type. And I realize you guys are going to be eating a lot, so just be careful you don't hurl or throw up or anything. Just eat in moderation, guys. Eat in moderation.
Producer Debbie.
There's going to be a lot of that going on tomorrow also.
Can you take that away from him?
I can try. Best I can do.
I've got a little bit of trivia for you. Okay? What is the number one busiest day for plumbers? Is it New Year's Day, Christmas Day, Black Friday, or the 4th of July?
For plumbers?
For plumbers, yes.
What's the choice again?
New Year's Day, Christmas Day, Black
Friday.
I say
New Year's Day.
I say Black Friday.
It is Black Friday.
Why?
It is Black Friday. Well, you stop and think about it. The whole family is gathered together. That means adults, children, and everything in between. Kids do crazy things. Everybody has eaten copious quantities of turkey and cranberry sauce and giblets and pumpkin pie and green bean casserole and everything else. And the facilities are stressed. We'll just put it that way. Yes. Producer Debbie, you're going to have to do something with him.
I will do my best.
It's
you
gonna be
can
a long
try.
It's going to be a long broadcast. So, all right. So what exactly is happening? We know that that Joe Biden doesn't have a clue what day of the year it is, much less day of the week, much less anything that's going on. We know that he is still sniffing children's hair, little girls especially, and we know that he is still robbing people and destroying our economy and so forth.
He's letting everyone think that he's running for president, where I think the governor of California is going to be stepping in at the last minute to say, hey, pick me. And there should be a disqualifier because he hasn't really said anything or done anything. And, you know, he would be the liar that he is if he does jump in at the race at the last second. So,
yeah.
Well, there's also talk of Michelle Obama sliding in right at the end, too.
I would like to correct you. It's Michael, not Michelle. But that's okay.
They, them, whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna keep this a happy, upbeat program today. So my apologies for talking about the Democrats and the Marxists and the communists and the socialists and the liberals. I'm sorry for being redundant, but anyway, it is what it is. So, all right. So what's on the agenda for today? I have absolutely no clue. Producer Debbie, what do we have going on?
Well, this is going to be a kind of a feel-good show. We're going to talk about the violence and the politics and the divisions so much. Thought it'd be nice to focus a little bit on the good things that happen in the world, things that we're grateful for.
Okay. So why don't we start with something from comedian and a TV show personality, game show host, talk show host, whatever, Steve Harvey. Let's see if we can make this one work.
I was 26 years old, man. I was struggling. I didn't have nothing. And these people owned the furniture store in Cleveland. And they took me in and gave me my first contract with my little carpet cleaning company. When I became a comedian at 27, I didn't have money to travel. They gave me an account at their travel agency. And man, I ran up a bill like $11,000 just trying to travel and make it. Them people right there, man, they helped me out. I've been looking for you for years, man.
That's pretty powerful. And you look at him today and you see how many millions of dollars he is worth. And I'm sure he has paid them back many times over.
And then some with a bag of chips.
Yep. So, here's the crazy thing. And I hate to say it about our society, but we seem to relegate benevolence to Thanksgiving and Christmas, but we forget about January 17th and July 12th and May 9th and so forth. And we don't realize that people need help throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
But food banks are swamped right now.
I drove by one the other day and I was in amazement as to how big the line was for people standing there for free food, just to get whatever they can get to take home for themselves or their families. I was blown away. I mean, it was literally a line that traveled up and down the parking lot.
Several years ago, I was very involved in a local chamber of commerce, not too far from where I am now. And they teamed up with a social service program. It was an arm of the community. It was a nonprofit. And for several years, I was a Santa's helper in their holiday store. And they had all kinds of donations, mostly new items. There were some slightly used things, but mostly new items. And they had food boxes and turkeys and hams and all of that kind of stuff. And the process was that a family that needed something would go through an interview process by a social worker. They would figure out what the needs are and what they qualified for. And then when they scheduled their appointment, they came to the store and I would help them shop. And I would know how many dollars or points they would have. And the sad thing is, the vast majority of the people that came through the line, through the process, had a level of expectation that you owe me. And so I'm here to get my stuff. And I had this one woman that came through and she shared just a little bit of her story. And her story was essentially her husband left her. She had a 12-year-old son, or they had a 12-year-old son. She had not been working much of any kind of a job, and now she is on her own trying to feed and house herself and the 12-year-old son. She must have said thank you 20 times as we were going through that process. Mm-hmm. And that was a Christmas story, but I'm thinking to myself, what about October? What about September? What about February? Etc. Are there people that are going to step up to the plate that will be benevolent in those times other than just the Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving and that sort of thing?
Right.
So, and then, I mean, it's a powerful story.
Well, that's why we have churches, but churches are kind of reducing in numbers. I'm seeing churches that are for sale because nobody's attending.
Yeah.
But that's where charities, even like ours, where we try to give back. We've actually partnered up with one of the members in our networking group, Two Jims Woodworking, that he's Santa Claus. He looks like Santa Claus. His dad, I gave him my elf costume that I had for when I gave out toys back in St. Louis. And we are doing a toy drive for underprivileged children in Moon Lake area, which is an impoverished area here in Florida, of which Mushy's Santa and the elf is going to be giving out the toys to all the kids in that area. And then whatever's left over, we're going to give to the fire department for if in case of an accident or a fire and there's a family with kids there, they can give a toy to a child to kind of, deal with the trauma and, redirect their thinking of whatever trauma's going. So, but yes, can we do this year round? It's not easy being a nonprofit agency year round. Trying to get support from people.
The challenge was 50, 60 years ago, the government was not the daddy to everyone. And it was the churches. It was the other nonprofits. I mean, it's before a lot of the nonprofits that we have today. But it was predominantly churches that were benevolent, and people willingly and cheerfully gave to churches because they knew that churches would donate. But over the past 60 years, the government has vilified churches in so many different ways that a lot of people don't go to the churches anymore to get help, or because people say, well, I just gave to the Red Cross, or I just gave to such and such organization. I don't have money to give to the church as well, even though the churches are probably the better ones to distribute those things.
Right.
So, anyway. Oh, mercy. Yes. But you know what that makes me feel like? That makes me feel like I just left the Chinese buffet. So, Ray, what are you telling me? What are you telling our fine audience?
It's time for a commercial break.
Well,
for
before
our
we do
viewers and listeners.
Before we do a commercial break, we have to put our disclaimer up. This is an opinion-based program. We are accurate. It does not necessarily reflect the shiny head of Ray. I know Ray's just jealous. He wanted to be more and more like me. But anyway, Anyway, that's our disclaimer. So I'll go back and we'll show a video. How's that? Does that work? Here we go.
That's what I want. Latch on as soon as you can. Make it hard. If I stand on one leg, can you yank me off balance? Yeah. If I stand feet wide, can you pull me off balance? Come on, what's the matter with you? How you doing? What was the first thing she did? She walked away. She took her eyes off of me. She looked away. I take her purse, I run. She goes to security, she goes to law enforcement. They're going to say, well, what did he look like? And you're going to be like, it happened so fast, I didn't see him coming. You didn't see him coming because I made you feel uncomfortable, and you took your eyes off me and walked away. The whole point is, and this does not mean I want you to go and flirt and talk to the person, or I don't want you to go, I see you. I just want you to, that's a cool shirt. I'd like to get that because my kids are in soccer. I'm letting you know I'm aware of you. I'm letting you know I can describe you.
How you doing?
Producer Debbie, he will never let that go. Okay.
No, there's no way. That's too easy. That's low hanging fruit. So Ray, what are you doing with this self-defense school?
Well, we are actually got one, maybe two more schools that we're signing up within the Hernando County School District to present to. We've got another senior assisted living organization that wants us to do a presentation for their active seniors. And we'll be doing the next actual seminar I'm going to do is for people that actually have a conceal and carry. And we're going to work on weapons retention and weapon deployment. What to do in a situation, when to use it, when to draw your weapon, how to draw it in a way that's safe and not putting anyone else, innocent bystanders, to danger. So gonna have fun with that one when we set that up. So that's all coming in 2024.
Can you conceal and carry a bazooka?
Well, it depends on how tall you are, but yeah. If you're a tiny person, no.
Munchkin. Oh, so you are you have a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
So talk to us about that.
And one of the things about nonprofits, you'll see commercials on TV and you hear them on the radio. And these are all highly sponsored nonprofits. I'll let Debbie take this one. She says it well. Producer Debbie.
Apparently, I don't say it well. Ask the question again.
So nonprofits that are highly sponsored or supported, people give money to them left and right, but it's the small nonprofits or the micro nonprofits that we kind of get kicked aside because, just like you said, Steve, well, I already donated to Children's Hospital, or I already donated to Shriners Hospital. We don't know you. People see us in the public all the time. We're in communities all the time. We show all of our seminars, pics, images, videos of our seminars to show people we are active, we are giving back to communities, we are trying to promote safer communities. But so with the year end coming, if you're a business or somebody that's made a lot of money and don't really want to give it away to Uncle Sam or to our government, please think of the smaller nonprofits like Heroes in Action and make that tax deductible donation so that we benefit from that, not our government.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Exactly.
Dr. Debbie, you said that so well.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Use the QR code, or
we don't have the trickle down from the national office like the big ones do. Yeah. We depend on the local and local donations. So
use the QR code that you see here, and if you're listening, just go to heroesinaction.us hit the Donate Now tab, and you'll see a list of all of our services, what we do, and just pick whatever donation amount that you want. If you want to sponsor an event, get a hold of us. Tell us what type of an event you'd like to sponsor, and we'll set it up and get your the name of your company out there along with ours. We want to support as many businesses as we can.
All right. So the question then that I have is, who would be some good opportunities? What organizations would you like to go and speak to in order to help the community? Are you talking about just elementary schools, middle schools, seniors? What?
Well, we want to do corporate wellness, corporate retreats. Safety concerns are ramping up everywhere. So anyone that travels, anyone that has to do something for work where they are traveling a lot, whether it's driving or flying, and they're going to places that they're not familiar with, there's always safety concerns. So we want to do the team building, the corporate wellness, not just the schools, churches.
Right. What are some organizations? Would you want to talk to a Rotary Club or a Kiwanis Club or an Exchange Club or a Lions Club? Those sorts of things. A VFW,
all of the
an
above.
American Legion. Okay. All right.
And if there's women groups that only sometimes those groups just having women speakers, I'm available. So yes.
There you go. Okay. All right. So you're looking for speaking opportunities that can lead into actual training opportunities or seminar opportunities and move into actually helping people feel more secure.
You got it.
All right. All right. So we're going to move on. Enough of that. Golly. Man, it's like pulling teeth to get anything out of you these days. Whew. All right. Well, Ray, that was not appropriate considering the video that we have coming up next. That was totally, that was just, here we go.
What's up, dude? Who am I? What's up, bud? Oh, God. I miss you. Did you miss me? Look at me. You alright? Huh? Are you gonna talk to me? Are you gonna talk to me? No? Alright. Love you, buddy. This might be a minute.
So in a couple of months, Suzanne's son is going to be finishing up the first phase of his basic training in Georgia. And we're trying to figure out how we can get her to get to Georgia so that she can run up to him and jump in his arms.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think it would work the other way around.
Those are all feel-good videos that, like producer Debbie had said, we see so much tragedy in the news, given Israel and Ukraine and all the protesting and rioting that's going on in our country here, that the people do turn to social media and look for the puppy dog or the kitten or whatever videos, just because they are fed up with seeing violence and tragedy. So
they look for the chickens too.
Not the turkeys, but the chickens.
Exactly. You know, I had a feel good thing that happened to me on Friday. So I was in a previous life, I sold a lot of life insurance policies, and in one of the policies that I would sell, or one of the types people used as a retirement type or an investment type of a policy. And I've got a guy that has asked me to coach him and train him on how to sell these particular policies. Well, I sold a bunch of them. I can easily do that, but I needed a little bit of a refresher. So I asked a friend of mine that works with teachers if I could just watch him for an afternoon. So I met him in one of the school districts, and he was going around to this one particular school, and he had about a half dozen or so different appointments with teachers. And the very last teacher that we got to, we walked into her classroom. She had just won an award of some sort. I wasn't paying attention to that because it wasn't relevant to me until then. And she was like teacher of the month or something like that. Well, they had given her a frozen turkey. And I thought, well, that was kind of nice. So I'm standing there, and the lady asks the guy that I'm working with, "Would you like a turkey?" And he says, "No, I'm good. We already have one," and so forth. And so then she asked me, "Do you want a turkey?" Well, we were originally planning on going to Thanksgiving dinner with some friends, and I'm like, "Oh, we're good." And then she says, "Are you sure?" I don't want it. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to give it to somebody. And I thought, yeah, sure, why not? So I got a 15-pound turkey. So yesterday I went to the store to get all of the fixins. And so if you see anything on the news about massive fire in northern part of Dallas, you'll know that I was the one that was cooking the turkey. So Suzanne is up to here, and she says, "I don't have time." I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So
You're
there may
not
be
deep
some.
frying it, are you?
No, no, no. I'm just gonna. I got all the fixins, and I'm gonna stuff that bad boy myself, and non-traditional stuffing, and I got a great recipe, and so
Cool.
it'll be fun.
Cool.
But that was a nice benevolent thing that she did for me.
Right.
I
You're a
fully was not expecting that.
We have a client that when you were talking about what happens on the other days, not just on Thanksgiving or on
Yeah,
Christmas, she works with a group that hands out food every Thursday year round.
yeah, it's
And
cool.
the deal though is that the workers at the end of the day, any food that wasn't handed out, they can take home.
Yeah,
And if it's more than they can use, they are asked to give it to someone else and not sell it, not make a profit, but they can give
yeah.
it to their neighbor, their friend, whoever, as long as they give it away. She's nice enough to most Thursdays bring a little bit for us, something that she has a surplus of, and it all helps out. Um, I'm giving you this backstory because one of the items she gave us was a 12 pack of small apple juices.
Okay.
And being that we live on the third floor, I'm pretty lazy about carrying things like that up. So it was in my car for a day or two. I Uber on the side to help bring in money, not only for my bills, but to help support the nonprofit.
Yeah.
And on one of my Uber pickups at a McDonald's, a homeless gentleman came in, an older guy. He
Hmm.
had one of those walkers that has a seat on it, but he had
Yeah.
it piled high with all of his belongings.
Right.
So he's standing there looking at the menu, and then you could tell that he must have had some money. And he thought, well, I could go to McDonald's and get something to eat on this amount of money. But the
Right.
prices have gone up so much. He was staring at the menu and just
Yeah.
in disbelief. He turned a couple times to leave, but would turn back and look at the menu again. Then I remembered the apple juice. So
Uh-huh.
I asked the gentleman if he would like the apple juice. His
Uh-huh.
response was would I love apple juice. So I went out to the car, got those. He moved some things around. We got it situated on his cart.
Yeah.
That's not the best part of the story. The best part is after I did that and went back to still wait for my order, one of the other customers there came up to the gentleman and said, "Get anything you want. I'm buying your dinner tonight."
Yeah, that's cool.
And as I got my stuff to leave, I heard another customer come up to him and ask him if he had a place to stay. Did he have a house? Did he have an apartment? Or was he on the street? Did he need shelter? And it was almost like there was an angel walking from person to person in McDonald's, whispering
Yeah.
in our ears, "Help this man." And
Yeah.
it almost made me wonder, what had his life been like? How much good had he done in his life for others, that
Yep.
somehow some kind of spirit was motivating all of us to help him. And Ray had urged me to put that on social media. I hesitated because I didn't want to make the story about myself, because I was
Right.
just a player in it. I was just a
Right.
piece of that story. But I
Yeah.
did, and I was glad I was did, because I had so many responses saying how inspirational it was to them. And hopefully, if they're in the same situation, it would inspire them to start that chain of reaction too. And
Yep.
so no matter how small the kindness, and it all started with our client giving the apple juice to me.
Yeah.
So no matter how small the good deed, you don't know where it goes.
Yeah, whatever. What are you
That,
telling
my
me, Troy?
friends, means we have to go to another commercial
Well,
break.
I'm glad you could come back and rejoin us. We missed you while you were gone a little bit. Not.
Life isn't always sunshine and roses. Sometimes it's full of roadblocks. The kind that aren't as easy to fix as filling a hole or repairing a car. Personal roadblocks are another thing altogether. Why do I feel stuck? The same things anger me every time. Why am I doing this anyway? Fixing it yourself can be frustrating and confusing. And if more than one person is involved, DIY might mean destroy it yourself. Maybe it's time for another solution. Steve Reed shines a light on your roadblocks and helps you find the best way forward for you. Stephen Reed Ministries, bringing light and hope for a victorious life. To overcome your roadblocks, schedule an appointment with Steve Reed today.
And you know the crazy thing, those roadblocks can keep us stuck and sometimes even get us to the point where we are like that gentleman that needed the apple juice. So
Absolutely.
we gotta work on those roadblocks. There are a lot of roadblocks. I was listening to a go ahead. Go.
No, I was going to say there's going to be lots of leftover food. And for those of you out there, if you have a neighbor or if you know somebody is by themselves,
Yeah.
you can invite them to your dinner, or put together a little to-go plate for them and give them a little part of your Thanksgiving and a feel-good moment as well.
Well, we may even have a video that would talk about something like that, about those people that may be alone. Let me see if I can find a video. But you know what? Before I do, Ray, you very rudely interrupted me and distracted me because I wasn't finished with my spiel. Here you go. Okay? I've got a Black Friday program going on right now with my Strategies for Success workbook and planner. It is designed to help you reach your dreams, reach your goals, understand your why, your purpose, your mission, your vision, etc. It's $27, only $27. You download this document, put it on your hard drive, on your computer, and then you can update it every month, every 3 months, every 6 months. I highly recommend you do that. But between now and the 26th, that's Sunday night, midnight, if you download and purchase the planner If you are so inclined, I am giving away a 1 hour strategy session. I normally charge $300 for that strategy session. I've only got 6 slots left. So, folks, you need to go to, if you send me an email, let me see if I can pull up my email address again. And that way you can send me an email and say, hey, Steve, I'm interested. You can go to info@StephenReedMinistries.com, info@StephenReedMinistries. I know the type is very small. You can't see the URL link, but the URL is StephenReedMinistries.com/success-planning-workbook. Take a look around, download, buy it. And if you're one of those first 6, then you too can get a complimentary strategy session. Let's help you get off to a better start in 2024. Now, back to the feel good, and let's see if we can resume things.
Today is what is called No One Eats Alone Day. It started in Northern California as a way to encourage students to spend time together over lunch and do the things kids do with each other, tell jokes, share stories, and when they're done, maybe bridge some differences they may have thought they had before they got to know each other. Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Johnson with more from TNEC.
For far too many students, lunchtime can be a lonely time. But there is a nationwide effort to ensure that no one in the cafeteria eats alone.
I just wanted to say hi to these amazing people because they're like so cool and stuff, you know.
The pandemic has increased social anxiety. And since kids were alone without friends, they suffered when it comes to not only learning loss, but developing friends through interaction.
What's your conversation about?
We're talking about what animal we would be and why. Yeah.
So what would you be?
I would be a unicorn.
I would be a giraffe. They're really interesting.
What's your name? What's your favorite sport?
Cue cards were placed on the table to suggest topics for discussion.
What is your topic?
Oh, we're talking about like what country we would live in. And I picked Dominican Republic because that's where I'm from. And what did you pick? Which country would you live in? Paris.
Several No One Eats Alone ambassadors monitored the lunchroom to make sure the students were having a meaningful engagement.
You don't ever want to see somebody, being alone and not having somebody to talk to because you don't know what that person's going through. So you would like to be kind and, spread kindness around to everybody like you want for somebody else to do to you.
This is the second year of the No One Eats Alone program here at the Benjamin Franklin Middle School, and the principal says this program will continue.
That's pretty cool. Thank you, producer Debbie, for finding that for us. Or let me rephrase: executive producer. You just got a promotion, pay raise, promotion.
Well, look at where she's living.
Yeah, well, exactly. She doesn't need it. So, and I didn't even know she played the piano. So, unless it's just one of those people that just has it there just for show.
No, I play. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. So
Videos
anyway.
to come. Videos.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of videos, this is a really cute video. Thank you again, executive producer Debbie.
This deer is blocking traffic and refuses to move from the road. That's when a kind gentleman gets out of his car and tries to shoo away the mysterious deer. But the deer resists and doesn't want to move. The man realizes that the deer actually seeks his attention, so he decides to follow the deer to see what's going on. After following the deer for about 15 minutes, they get to a house backyard and find a poor little deer trapped in a soccer net. Immediately, the kind gentleman understands that this is the mother and that she's asking for help for her baby deer. Without hesitation, the kind man begins to free the little deer. But the mother, filled with nerves, thinks that the man might harm the little deer and runs in circles frantically, until finally the man manages to free the cute little deer, and immediately it runs away from the danger zone. After releasing the deer, the kind gentleman returns to his car, and just at this moment, the mother and the baby stop for a few seconds and stare at the kind gentleman. The little deer slowly approaches and bows as if it's thanking him before continuing on their journey. Something curious.
Isn't that cute?
Aw, they saved Bambi.
Exactly. Only to be shot another day. That's that was just
You're so
okay.
you're so
Okay.
insensitive.
All right. So here's another trivia question for you. The first Thanksgiving, way back 400 years ago with the Pale Worms. All right. And John Wayne was
And
not there.
I
I'm
was
going to
going
show
to
you.
say, and I was not there.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. What was the meat of choice? Was it turkey? As was it venison? Was it buffalo? Or was it chicken? First Thanksgiving.
I
Deer meat.
It was Bambi.
I think it was either venison. I think it was, or fish. I think it had fish too.
It was primarily Bambi.
Hmm. Well, not Bambi per se. Bambi's
Well, yeah, but
ancestor.
Bambi's great grandfather. So or grandmother or whichever. Oh mercy. So life is too short not to have some fun and frivolity.
Well, you know what
So
I
all right.
like to do? This is not has nothing to do with Bambi necessarily. Um, I wish I did it every single day, and sometimes I do. I get in the habit for a while, for months. I do it every day. Is have I start my day with gratitude, but not
Sure.
just in my mind, but write it down. It could
Mhm.
be two things of gratitude. It could be five things of gratitude. But start the day every day with writing down what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And studies have shown that doing that on a regular basis actually changes the way you think and actually brings more things to be grateful for into your life.
Thinking about that, and I'm looking at where is it? I don't see it off the top of my head, but one of the chapters, well, I can't find it off the top of my head, but a couple of years ago when I broke my leg and I'm
Mhm.
laying on the ground and I'm thinking, okay, God, I know this is going to hurt. Please take the pain away. What lessons are you trying to teach me? And who am I supposed to teach? He gave me a third book. It's called Lessons from the Crutches. And one of the chapters in here is have an attitude of gratitude. So while I was laying in the hospital, I'm writing some notes about the book and I made the decision I was going to practice gratitude. So everyone that came in that did anything for me, I don't care if it was a nurse, one of the orderlies, somebody that brought me food, custodial staff, whatever. I told them thank you. I really appreciate what you're doing for me. There were probably 30 people in that 2 or 3 day period that were there taking care of my needs. So gratitude, and everybody's like,
Right.
how could you be so cheerful and so forth? You got a broken, stinking leg. You're going in for surgery. I said, I didn't have a heart attack. I don't have cancer. I didn't have a stroke. You're not
Right.
taking the kidneys out, etc. I'm okay. I'll
Right.
survive.
No, I
So,
and I noticed a huge difference, not only just in my attitude, but in blessings that I was receiving when I
yeah.
started my day with gratitude. It
Yep.
seemed like I had more blessings during those days,
Yeah.
which sounds kind of weird, but it's sort of like attracts like. So if you're grateful, it seems like you attract more things to be grateful for.
Yep.
Um,
Well, and the thing is, sure, real quick Zig Ziglar story. See, years ago, a woman comes up to him at a conference, and she's a sourpuss. I mean, he used to say it's like she's been sucking on a dill pickle. And I don't have anything to be grateful for. He says, well, let's look at the list. Do you have a job? Well, yeah, I do. Okay. Do you work indoors or outdoors? Well, I'm indoors. Okay. Do they have heating in the wintertime and air conditioning in the summertime? Well, yeah. Okay. Do they pay you for this job? And he goes down this list of about 20 things. And all of a sudden she realized, I do have a lot to be grateful for. And then he
right.
saw her a week or two later, 3 weeks later, something like that. And her attitude had changed completely. And she said, the people that I work with really are nice. They've all changed. No, they haven't changed. She's the one that's changed.
Right. I had an uncle one time. I said, he said, "Oh, how's your day been?" I said, "Oh, this day's just everything has gone wrong."
Yeah.
And he said, "Not everything has gone wrong." He said, "Did your house burn down? Did you break a leg? Did you get in a car wreck? Did you lose your job?" And he just started
Yep.
naming one thing after the other. And it really
Yep.
changed the way I looked at things from that
Oh,
point on. I
absolutely.
don't think I ever said everything went wrong ever again
Yeah.
because it didn't.
Very
Most
true.
things went very right.
Yeah.
So,
Ray, I am grateful for OBBM Network.
Entertainment expands your horizons, takes you on fantastic adventures, challenges your skills. Independent media never looked so good. Welcome to a new sphere of influence. Our words mean business. Traditional families are honored, and the American flag still flies.
And if you have not subscribed to OBBM Network and all of their programming, you need to. And I understand, Ray, there's another program or another option in Florida as well. Let's talk about the Florida option.
Florida, they have Traverse TV. So if you download the Traverse TV logo or app on your TV or smartphone or whatever, you have access to all of the OBBM network shows, which also includes Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. So we
How
are
about
now on Traverse TV here in Florida. Download the app, people. Download the app.
How about that? And we have one more video. Let's run through this one real quick.
All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God.
I would be willing to bet that he was in the military and he lost his leg in combat or in some kind of little excursion of some sort.
So for our listening audience that didn't get a chance to see the video that it's played, and by the way, you can always replay all of our past broadcasts. You can go to YouTube or Facebook or any of the OBBM networks and watch all of our previous shows. But on the video, they're on a bus. And everyone's looking at this guy sitting in a chair and this little old lady standing. And they're like, "What is wrong with you? Why don't you get up and let her sit down?" So everyone was prejudging him, thinking that he was being a jerk. And when he gets up to allow her to sit down, he's got two crutches, and they see that he only has one leg. And the expressions on their faces were, "We are all pieces of for making someone do something not knowing what their story was." I thought, you don't know somebody's story. You don't know what they've gone through.
Yeah.
Be grateful for what you have, and if you can, share or not even be judgmental. Don't be judgmental to them, but be accepting and loving to them. That's what we need more of in our country right now.
No doubt. And guys, we are almost out of time. So are you going to your favorite Persian restaurant for Thanksgiving?
We are. I can't wait. It's time is ticking. I'm just salivating at thinking about it.
So
hopefully you don't burn your turkey or your house down with all the fixings.
So are they going to have Persian cats there as one of the entrees?
No. That's just rude.
Yeah, but I'm not
we're
the
not
only person.
we're not going to an Asian restaurant or a Chinese restaurant.
I am not the first person that has ever said that, and you know that. So, all right, so folks, follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and subscribe on OBBM Network, and follow us there, and Spotify and Apple, iTunes, and
Rumble.
all of the and Rumble, and working on
Yes,
Getter
Clucky.
and so forth. So anyway, with that said,
Happy Thanksgiving.
yes, absolutely. And
that was Clucky wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I could tell. Yes, Ray, you are a turkey. So
Quite
anyway.
the dapper hat too.
Yeah, exactly. and Ray, sometime maybe sometime show in the future you'll explain to us why the razor came so close. So I know it's not your summer hairdo. So anyway, with that said, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be kind to somebody a lot.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at tabootalkwithrayansteve@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.